Hello you plonkers and welcome back today to another video on the Drewzy channel. I don't know why I have AirPods in. I actually do. I just recorded the Drew Footy Show. Still, a large contingent of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. Here are the guilty, filthy pigs. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing as it helps out with my channel growth. Also, if you like my content, please drop a like on the video to support me in the algorithm. Let's get on with the 9 things I learned from round 13. Number 1. Port are good, but not really. Port showed bits in games, like they were alright in the second half, but you just knew they weren't going to come back and win. Against Essendon, they played one good half and just didn't really show up in the second half. Against Geelong, again, showed up in the first half and then went to sleep in the second half. I'm sick of Ken Hinkley, to be honest. There's no flair, there's no life in this Port Adelaide side at the moment. I think they needed to freshen it up a bit because there's a lot of talent on this list. They can't get the most of it. This was a winnable game for them and they were like a little bit competitive. I'm just sick of Port Adelaide. Next. Number 2. I'm not afraid anymore. Since losing to Collingwood, and in particular since that Jacob Wiedering injury, Carlton just haven't looked like the same side, I believe. The game on Friday night was about as dead as my love life. You could have gone to sleep at 3/4 time and not missed a single goal. To not be able to put a goal past an Essendon side who currently sit in the bottom 3 is quite embarrassing. They're not as threatening as they were from stoppages earlier on in the season, the Blues. They've shown some really good football in parts at times this season, but they haven't been able to show that forequarter effort still. After years of trauma caused by Carlton, after seeing how good Freo are at the moment, and we've got them after the bye, all I can say is, I'm not afraid anymore. Number 3. Fremantle are the number 1 seed right now. Collingwood fans would argue differently after beating us a few weeks ago, but they sit 8th, we sit top, so let's just say Fremantle are currently the top seed in the AFL. I'm not scared of any side. Melbourne, let's have ya. Headbutt. Brisbane, come on then. Slip. Bang. Hawthorn, the Giant Killers. No. Kick to the teeth. I'm keen for this Sydney challenge coming up soon. Carlton, Schmalton, as far as I'm concerned. I'm so confident in my football side at the moment to win any game. We'll lose one along the way, I'm sure, and it'll be disappointing. But at the moment, I'm not scared of anyone. The football we are playing at the moment is delicious. Our centre bounce work has improved dramatically. Andy Brayshaw is in Brownlow form at the age of 22. Caleb Strong is a superstar. Nat Fyfe's come back into this side. Our forwards are potent. Every time we get it inside 50, our pressure's good enough to lead to scores. Things are good at Freo. Teams find it hard to score against us. Hawthorn did a good job to try beat us. They brought their best, but it wasn't good enough. I'm not saying they're going to win the premiership, but right now, at round 13, they are the best side in the AFL, and you can't dispute it. Number 4. Brisbane gets some unfortunate luck. It was a 3-point margin at 3/4 time in this Brisbane-St Kilda game. And then they get 2 players that run into each other, knock each other out. I think they had 3 concussions. I could be wrong. 3 players went off anyway. They had 2 players on the interchange in the 4th quarter. And with the physicality of the sport, if you have 2 players on the interchange, your players on the ground are just going to gas. And that's what happened. Brisbane just rolled home to a somewhat comfortable victory. But I think if this game was played again, I think St Kilda would have won that game. I reckon St Kilda are good enough to beat Brisbane. They usually have their number as well. They play well in Queensland. St Kilda got unlucky. The luck went in the way of the Lions, who got a very important 4 points as Freo rose up ever so slightly to be on the same points as Melbourne and Brisbane. We're all fighting for that top seed, but you know who's going to come out on top, baby. Number 5. Manscaped are the best at men's grooming. This video is brought to you by Manscaped, who provide the world's best engineered tools for below the belt grooming. You ever been shaving below the belt, fellas, and you get a nick or a cut? Well, you don't have to worry about that no longer. With the Lawnmower 4.0, it's the best electric trimmer on the market. It's got a ceramic blade, its skin-safe technology, including the LED light, makes it such an easy job to clean up below the belt, boys and girls. If you're thinking, I need to trim up down below the belt, I've got places I want to be, people I want to see, and I don't want to be looking all scruffy down there. I don't want it to be embarrassing. I don't want to get my mum to go to Coles for me and get those cheap razors that leave me with cuts. Just head over to Manscaped, lads. I'm telling you, you'll sort yourself out. Get the Lawnmower 4.0 using code Drewzy20 all caps, no spaces at checkout. And that'll give you free worldwide shipping and 20% off your order. It's a great deal for a great product. You help the channel out. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring today's video. Let's get on with the rest of the things. Number 6. Does anyone actually care? GWS, an orange startup company sitting in the bottom end of the ladder with a makeshift coaching panel. And they came up against North Melbourne, who are struggling to get a win as much as a drug addict would struggle to refrain from using drugs in a crack house. Their recruiting panel has left. The club is probably going to leave to Tasmania. They come up against GWS, who have about as many fans as my YouTube channel. It was a 49-point margin. There were 13,000 people who attended this game. Does anyone actually care? Maybe I'm just in a bad mood, but I could not give a rat's ass. Number 7. I've been saying about Collingwood. I'm claiming that I called Collingwood to be good. I've been saying it. Go back to round 1 or round 2, 9 things I learned. I was saying Collingwood are good, and I'm claiming that. Thank you. Let me boost my ego. Great. Now let's talk about Collingwood. They're the most informed team in the competition for me at the moment. They've beaten Freo, who are, as I said, the number 1 seed in the competition. Not the most informed team, but the number 1 seed. So they've beaten Freo, Carlton, Hawthorn, and now the Dees. I mean, that has been the best 4 weeks of football you could ask for from a Collingwood fan's perspective. And the football they play is so fun to watch. Going forward, they're not clean with it. They're not like a silky side that weave in and out with intricate kicking lanes and leads and hit-ups and handball chains. It's not like that. They just crash and bash, knock the ball on by any means necessary. Let's get it into our 50. And then if you have the ball with time, you'll have Brody Mychek hitting up every day of the week. Such an underrated player. And you just got role players in there like Bo McCreary, Jamie Elliott. Mason Cox had a massive game today. You have midfielders always contributing to the score sheet as well. And then defensively, Collingwood are the best pressure side in the competition, bar none. No team has time on the ball with Collingwood. The players just swarm the ball carrier. That pressure just leads to rush kicks, turnovers, and then they just gain the possession back. Down back, they're as solid as they come. You got Darcy Moore down there. Jeremy Howe, one of the most athletic, unique defenders I've seen in my time watching the sport. Isaac Quainer, the youth that Collingwood have, the Dacos brothers. I mean, the list goes on. Ollie Henry. I love this list. They're such a fun side to watch play. They might not win the flag this year, but they will compete all the way to the very end. Craig McRae has done a great job. Watch out for the Magpies for the next few years because they will definitely be on the premiership hunt. Number 8. Could the wheels be falling off the Dees? After winning 17 games in a row, the Dees have now lost 3 straight. And it doesn't take much to mess with the flow of a side. They thought they had it all down packed, the Dees. It looks like they were going to walk straight to the flag, pick it up, and plonk it back in their club. But there's just been a few things that have started to go wrong at the Dees. And starting off on field, it's just been their mid to forward connection, their transition from defence to attack, which has been so good in the last 18 months, really. They seem to bring the ball up the ground with ease, from my end anyway, from my perspective in the last year or so, and that's just gone. They're just bombing and hoping into their 50 at the moment. They had, I think, 6 marks inside 50 all day. Their last 6 weeks of football has been absolutely bang average, and their defensive structure has been found out. Teams aren't finding it hard to score against Melbourne now. They find themselves with 3 losses in a row after going 10-0. Freo and Brisbane have now caught up to them. And then off-field, the May Melksham bust-up. That just shows that the team isn't cohesive as it maybe was a while ago. People pull me up on this that I say the term team cohesion too much, but it's an important facet of a successful football side. You need to have all of the players bonding like a brotherhood. And when there's a big punch on, and then you see Christian Petrarca go on radio and talk about how the Dees fans aren't showing up to the game, just these small cracks that are starting to appear in this side that looked so bulletproof only a month ago. And when you have sides that are on the rise, particularly like Freo, who are really building on that same trajectory that Melbourne were on last year, and you see Melbourne, it's not really going well. Maybe they can pull it back together, but it's just not looking very good at Melbourne at the moment. The wheels look like they are starting to fall off. And as a very biased Freo fan, coming up, it's good to see such a strong side start to show some weaknesses, especially when we beat them a few weeks ago. We have them again in about a month's time at Optus as well. So it's good to see that currently we are doing better than the team that was best last year. And number 9, The bye rounds suck. 3 bye rounds just sucks. Why can't we just have like 1 week where there are no games or something like that? Because the bye rounds are just atrocious. North Melbourne versus GWS by itself. We've got St Kilda versus Essendon on the Friday night. Gross. Port Adelaide versus Sydney. West Coast versus Geelong. That's going to be a pumping. GWS versus the Bulldogs. Does anyone care again? And then Gold Coast versus Adelaide, which will be a good game. But again, it's not a massive game. So it's just like, can we just do something about this? 3 rounds of byes. It's not good to watch. There's not enough football on. And the games that are on are just bang average as well. So can we find out a way to have this mid-season break a little bit better? And that's going to wrap up 9 things I learned this round. But before you click off, get back here right now. And you make sure you like this video if you haven't already. Thanks for the support on the channel recently. It means a lot to me. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already to avoid me calling you a filthy pig. And I'll see you in the next video, which will be a Drew Footy show. Probably out tomorrow. Take care, you plonkers.